Hey, this is v.17 and welcome back to Factorio. Just got some resources reconnected to the top of the factory here. We've actually disconnected them at the end of the previous episode to get the smelting moved up a little bit higher. I've just got them reconnected because I want to do a little bit of research just so we can go out and fight some aliens and actually expand the base a little bit. But first up, we need to actually get another patch of stone connected up, which we've got down here. It's going to be a little bit of a tricky thing because it's right on the water line there, so we actually need to get some landfill made. So we'll get as much of this connected up as we can, and then we'll get some landfill made so we can get the rest of it connected up. But I think eventually we'll actually use the stone that's outside the wall here. So we'll probably expand the wall up to there somewhere. We'll probably expand the wall down here as well, because there's actually some pretty decent patches of iron just outside the wall. Just getting the resources together that we need to actually build this stone patch. We've got assemblers, inserters as well, because we need to make some landfill. What else do we need? Electric poles we've got. Belts. Well, let's grab some more belts. Let's actually put a request in for... because I'm actually going to be belting this back to the factory for now. It's going to be quite a long belt. So what we'll do is we'll go out from here all the way up there, and then we'll run alongside this belt. We'll go all the way up the very top. And it's going to be a lot of belts. Actually, we may not have enough belts to do this. Let's have a look. Let's make a bunch of belts. I'm pretty sure even that many belts is not going to be enough. But I'm probably going to be sticking with belts for a little while here. And then in probably the next episode or the episode after, we'll start switching over to drains. But most of these patches here, I'm going to just connect up with belts for now. Anyway, let's head down to the bottom there and actually get this stone patch connected up. Okay, so we've got mining drills covering this patch now. We'll just get a little bit of landfill made so we can get the rest of it covered up. It's still a bit near the actual edge of the water that needs to be covered with electric mining drills. What do we need here? Power. I don't think we'll bother putting this into the chest, we'll just pick it up directly. Although, how quick is that going to go? Not particularly quickly, so let's actually go add extra stack inserters. I think I've still got a bunch of inserter capacity bonuses to research as well. Let's have a quick look at that. I think I'm primarily waiting on stone so I can do some more military research, because I want to do projectile damage. I want to actually beef up my bullets a little bit. And we need stone for that, for the military. And what was the other thing that we wanted to look for? Inserter capacity bonus. Yeah, we can still do some of those as well. We might as well do that, because that doesn't need stone. So we'll do that. What else can we queue up here? Automation 3, I suppose. I don't think that needs stone either. I don't know how vital that is. There's nothing else that I really want to get into at the moment. Not going to worry about logistics 3 for a little bit. Energy weapon damage. Actually, no, we need military for that as well. So that's fine. We'll just leave it as inserter capacity bonus for now. Yeah, we should be able to get this done pretty quickly here, I think. Okay, so we've got the patch of stone there completely covered with electric mining drills. We just need to bolt it back into the factory now. And also we've finished inserter capacity bonus. Let's have another quick look, see if there's anything else we really need to do. Mining productivity, not really, I don't really want to do that. I mean, it's kind of expensive as well, 500. Is there anything else that's going to be useful? We need stone for that, so we'll probably do that next as soon as we get the stone available. Inserter capacity bonus 6. Sure. It's kind of expensive, but it is actually useful to do that. Actually, no, the other one we should do is, let's do this instead. Well, we'll do that afterwards. Worker robot cargo size. Since we are actually starting to get a little bit of logistics installed into the factory. Anyway, let's bring this belt all the way back into the factory. We'll go directly up there, across there, and then parallel with this belt here, all the way across the top. And then back down here. I think we've actually got a position assigned for stone in the new layout as well. Now, whereabouts do we need to bring this belt across? Right about here somewhere. Right next to that will be fine, I think. I've got a bunch of grenades in my inventory as well, so we should be able to make our way pretty quickly. As long as we've got enough belts. Actually, we can go even faster if we actually walk on the belt. There we go, stone coming into the factory. Let's have a quick look at our research. Has research stalled on that inserted capacity bonus? Yes, it has. We're missing purple science. Let's have a quick look. Maybe purple science relies on stone as well. I think it's called production science, isn't it? Purple science? Production science. Oh yeah, it does rely on stone. Okay, because we need stone for electric furnaces. So that should reactivate that process. We're going to add physical projectile damage. Start research. And we'll probably do a few levels of that. I want to get some shields together, is the other thing. Do I have any shields at the moment? Nope. So we'll get 2 or 3 sets of shields. And Mark 2 shields, very much. We don't need that. Low density structures as well, which are the same place. Okay, so we'll get 2 or 3 Mark II shields together. Research, let's check to make sure that's restarted. We also need to stockpile some walls, and we might switch the defensive wall over to substations at this point at the moment. I've currently got the defensive wall powered by medium electric poles. Don't actually have any radar, so you can't really see, but you can just tell by the spacing, these blue dots. They're pretty close together, so we'll actually swap those over for substations. So we'll make a little logistics factory to make those as well. So we've got some equipment together. We've got a bunch of walls, laser turrets, substations. We've also got shields ready to go. We've got 4 Mark II shields. Now there's a couple of ways we can actually go about attacking these bugs. One is to actually take the power with us up to those locations and use laser turrets to clear them out. The other option is just to run in just with the machine gun and try and finish them off that way, which is probably what I'm going to try first. I'm guessing they haven't evolved so much that they're going to be that much of a threat to us, especially considering we've got 4 shields as well, so we'll do that. We need to extend the power out to there anyway because we need to take the defensive wall, but I think in terms of defensive wall, we'll try and get past this coal patch, so from the top of this water, maybe across here, because I'm not sure what's up there, so we'll go and have a look. Let's go have a look at this first. Let's make sure we're fully equipped before we head out. Looks good. We have bullets and some to spare. Some bullets in the car as well. We have some roaming bugs. Okay, so the first patch is relatively close by. Let's see how we go. The worms are a little bit tough. I think we're going to have to do turret creep here. Yeah, we're going to have to do turret creep. Oh, yes, we are. Our bullets are nowhere near tough enough. Maybe we do more bullet damage research. I think what we'll do is we'll get rid of worker robot cargo size for now. We'll switch over to projectile damage. We'll do a few levels of that for future use. But for now, we're going to have to do turret creeping instead, I think so. Put in temporary... Actually, do we have enough? No. We'll go back, we'll grab some more big electric poles, and then we'll head back out again. Okay, that's pretty much it for the top area there. Still a few around this side we need to clean out as well. Doesn't look like the water goes the whole way across, so I think what we'll do to make it easier is we'll go just across this little choke point here, and then I don't really like doing diagonal walls, so we'll probably go over there and have a quick look. Let's just take the power with us. We'll have a quick look over there and see where we can put a wall over there. The two choices, if I keep the wall straight, we can either go across and up, or then up and across. So, are there any resources in that area that we might want to grab later on? That's the question. There is a little bit of stone, but I don't think we're going to need that much extra stone. I think we'll go across and up. It's probably going to be the easiest way to do it. So yeah, let's come up with a new design for the wall, defensive wall. And probably going to go with slightly higher density of laser turrets than I have on the existing wall. And it's going to be based on substation spacing as well. So that spacing, and then we're going to have, do we want the defensive wall as far out as possible is the question. I think we do. So we want probably, we want to get the power as far back from the wall as possible, I think. So we'll probably do this. And then we'll remove every second laser turret. At some point we'll actually come back and we'll increase the laser turret density to maximum. Actually have laser turrets in every single position, but for now this will be fine, I think. I think that matches up. Yep. And then defensive wall 1 away from the laser turrets. And we'll just go for a single layer of defensive wall for now as well. Again, at some point in the future, we may double that up and actually go for 2 layers, but I think a single layer is going to be enough for now. And that's pretty much all we need to do. So we'll take a blueprint of that. Excellent. And yeah, so from about here, and then when we get close to where the edge of the coal is, we'll head straight up to there, across to there, and then we just need to, I could probably actually do this, we'll just clear out that one little patch, and we'll do the similar thing down here. We'll actually go, although I do want to get that stone in, so I think we'll go, we might go down and across here, I think. Okay, I think we're good up the top there. Defences are in. We might slap a radar or 2 in here as well, just so we can keep an eye on the state of the wall. Okay, so we just need to head down to this location and then clear out that alien base. See if there's any other ones in there. I don't think there is. We'll put a radar on this wall as well. And then we can at least remove this defensive wall. And I guess the next step will be to go and expand. We'll leave this one as is, this wall here. We haven't had that many attacks there, I don't think. Next one is to expand this wall here. We can see we're getting attacks there. We'll actually expand this one. So we'll head down from here, across, all the way up outside this iron patch, then back into the water. So we get access to this iron, maybe that coal as well. Okay, that was pretty easy. Down across. We'll have to get rid of these cliffs, I suppose. Yeah, we'll go basically from this little area here. Let's grab some grenades, get rid of these trees. Just finish projectile damage. Do we have another level we can do? Weapon shooting speed, yeah, we'll do that one as well. Machine gun is kind of slow at the moment. Could definitely use a bit of a speed up. Yeah, so we'll go straight down from here. And we'll actually bring the power across as well. Okay, that looks good. We can actually pull out that the old northern defensive wall now. I don't think there's any other bugs inside here. There's a little patch of oil, but it's not particularly useful. It's only 3 little spots of oil. But yeah, we can pull this out. We'll do that. Then we'll get a resupply on probably maybe a few more laser turrets. And then we'll head over to the to this wall on this side. Get this extended out. So I'll finish expanding the defensive wall there. You can see the defensive wall goes all the way out here now. Encloses all of these ore patches. So we've got a lot of ores that we can connect up. There's actually quite a bit of coal as well. So I suppose we have the option of connecting up some more coal power plants if we need to. I've also extended the wall down here as well. It used to actually come in here, and there was a defensive wall down this way. And I've just shifted this one across a little bit. Actually, I just noticed we've missed a gap, so I'll have to fix it up at some point. I've also extended the solar power as well, because we're having a little bit of a power shortage. I think it's because there is a standby power on the laser turrets, and all the extra laser turrets we installed started draining the power a little bit. So I think what we'll do next is actually get 4 patches of each kind of ore connected up to smelting. And I think iron, how much do we have left there? Iron's probably going to be okay. I think we can get just another 2 patches of iron. So this one here, and probably that one there as well. It's all going to be long belts again until we, probably another couple of episodes, and we'll start getting the trains connected up. We'll stick with the belts for now. So that one there, this one here, and then copper-wise, we've got, that's fine. So another 3 copper patches, so 1, 2, 3. And again, we don't need a lot of copper in the early game, so that copper will probably last us for quite some time. We've also got this iron patch down there if we run out of iron at any point, which is possible. What we'll do is we'll probably hook up this one through the line for this one, so bring the belt in this way up there, and where they join together, give priority to this lot of iron, so this runs out first, and then it'll start using that iron there. So that means we need to get another 2 patches of iron, so it's going to be this one, and this one here is going to be a very long belt, and we'll probably work that up this side, I think. So I'm actually going to get the most remote ore patch connected up first, and we'll bolt it back right along the coastline here, all the way back in. Not doing anything too fancy for the design of these outposts. I'm just going to do just strips of electric mining drills and then the belt snaking through them. I've also made a few poison capsules here as well, just to make clearing out the trees a little bit quicker. I may actually set up a factory at some point to make those. That's probably all we need to do. Of course, building should be a little bit quicker now that we've got further out. Should be a little bit quicker now that we've got personal robots. That's fine. Actually, I just realised I didn't bring the power down with me. That's fine. We've got a wall right nearby here, so we'll use that. And we can use the copy-paste tool to copy this. I think everything's covered there. We may have enough belts. We actually need to get a little bit of extra iron flowing into the factory to get the extra belts we need to get the belts made, so maybe it wasn't the best idea to get the most remote ore patch connected up first. So we run out of belts here. It might be a little bit of a trick to get extra belts made. Good. Can we put this belt down? Actually, what I will do here is, because we can actually walk on the belt, we'll pick that up and we'll just walk on the belt as we lay it. we get this? How do we do this again? So this bypasses that. Yeah, it's actually less than, currently a much less than 2 belts of iron coming out from our iron smelting. So what I'm going to do is this third set of smelting that I've just installed. Let's finish that off. I'm actually going to pass that down to the top of the factory as it stands at the moment. Down here. And this is the third belt we just installed. And then I'm going to integrate it into these 2 belts. All of this is going to be removed and cleaned up once we get the new bus design figured out. I think this should work pretty much straight away. Iron ore's getting distributed. It's moving at full speed. It is. Which tells me we could probably actually increase the number of furnaces here. Is it getting compressed down the end? I mean, we could probably look at, yeah, you can see how it's storing so much iron in these end ones. So maybe we'll try adding an extra set of 4 furnaces on the end of these. Do I have any? Let's go grab some more steel furnaces. We'll add a few extra furnaces to that first one. See if it makes a difference in the amount of iron that we're smelting. Actually, no, it might not make a difference because the belt's compressed. And there's no stuttering, so it's moving at full speed, fully compressed belt, so there's no point adding more furnaces. Although, we probably get away with fewer furnaces actually, so that's fine. You can see most of them, there's only just these last 2 aren't cooking all the time. But we've got another full lot of iron coming through, third belt. Reintegrated here, so now we've got a solid load of iron coming in, which means we're getting more green circuits, which means we should be getting more of pretty much everything else as well. So yeah, let's get how's copper going? Copper's actually pretty decent. I mean, it's probably a low priority. We might go for a 1 extra belt of copper, and then go for the 4th belt of iron, I think. Although we still need to do another couple of patches because this doesn't really count as a full belt of iron. This one here. So let's go for another iron. Let's go for this one over here. That one's going to be pretty easy to connect up. Again, we can run the belt. I was going to actually integrate into this one here. So yeah, electric mining drills, belt across, up, integrate into this belt, and then we won't actually add an extra belt for this, just the belt between here and here. And then we'll do a copper one somewhere. Probably this copper one here will go on the other side of the solar panels. Although, actually, now what we'll do is we'll cut across for this copper patch. We'll go across there, and then up there. Okay, all connected up. Whoops, let's get our bots back. Still a few belts missing down the bottom here. Looks good. Is that going to reach? Excellent. Why how's that power going, I wonder? We did add some extra solar power not too long ago. Yeah, power's looking fine. The thing we're looking for is the drop-off in production in the solar power, which is very early in the day, which tells us that we're producing plenty of power. You can also see that the steam engines are cutting off there as well. Okay, solid iron coming in now. Have I done this wrong? I have. I just realised I've laid this out incorrectly. It still works, but it's not the way that I'd prefer to lay this out. So what we'll do, let's quickly fix that, and then we'll get another one of those patches of ore connected up. Okay, so we've got 4 belts of each kind of ore coming to the top of the smelting now. We've connected up this iron patch down here, this copper patch here, and this copper patch over here as well. We're a little bit low on copper, and we're also a little bit low on coal. It's not totally obvious at the moment, but I think we're starting to run down on coal because we've only got that one coal patch in here. So we'll probably need to get another coal patch connected up. Not sure which one we'll go for. One of these ones over this side probably. So yeah, we just need to build the final sets of smelting, and then we should be right to go. I think I've got enough stuff in my inventory to actually build this. Ooh, we might. Actually, I think we'll be fine for splitters as well. Yep, looks good. So if we just connect this up, it should work. Fingers crossed. That's just alien attacks, I think, yeah. Turrets in use. Let's see what happens here. Oh, I just realised we've got coal is not connected here as well. The other side is fine. Looks good. I'm not sure, we may put 4 belt balancer on the output side as well. See what happens. And we can add in extra belts into the factory as we need them now. So that's 4 belts of each kind of ore. So I think we're right to start designing the redesigning the science factories now. Things that are like the only things I'm going to actually design a belted version of are the science. And I think everything else like belts and assemblers and electric mine drills, I'll probably just build a logistics model for all those things. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get a Factorio calculator and actually figure out the exact number of assemblers I need for each science pack based on a total of 8 copper and 8 iron belts. So that's including space science as well. So the most science we can produce from 8 belts of each, and we'll figure out the number of assemblers we need, and then I'll lay that out and then we'll come up with a design for each science pack. So I've gone through on the Kirk McDonald Factorio calculator and figured out the exact number of assembly machines I need to produce the amount of science that I want, which is basically based on the amount of iron and copper that I'm getting into the factory. So up here we're getting, eventually we'll be getting 8 belts of iron and 8 belts of copper. So based on that, the total number of science per minute that I'm aiming for in the factory is 75. That's including space science as well, 75 science per minute. And this is the number of assembly machine 2s that we need to produce that amount of science for each different science pack. I've just gone through and actually broken it down to all its components as well. So that many assembly machines for red science, and then one for gears, and that many for green science, and then its components, and so on through all the science packs. Haven't worried about belts or anything for this part. It's just getting the exact number of assembly machines that I need to actually produce the science. The only thing that's can be changed is the smelting area here, because this is to smelt bricks for the walls for the military science, and that can actually be changed over for electric furnaces, which I don't have on me at the moment, but the actual number of electric furnaces is the same as steel furnaces. So the only disadvantage with this is that we have to include a belt to bring coal in. So I think in the early game you could do a design that has the steel furnaces and then later on change it over for a design that uses the electric furnaces instead. So yeah, I've gone through and done that for all the different science packs: red, green, Actually, they've got names for these now, don't they? Automation, logistics, military, I know, chemical, and then I think it's production and utility. Production and utility. The only one that's a little bit odd is utility science actually has a lot of low density structure assembly machines required. So I want to try and keep the design so it's completely linear like this. So it's basically one row for each type of assembler. But for the utility science, it does mean we're going to have this long row of low density, and not low density structures. Low density? It is low density structures. But there's plenty of space on the map, so in terms of the size of the factory at the moment, it's not that big, I suppose. And I'll show you quickly the kind of layout that I'm going to be going for in the final design. So for each one of these, I'm going to configure it like the belt set up like this, so that the output belt's on the very top, and then the science pack's going to be, well, let's just pick a science pack just at random, it doesn't really matter for the example. So there's going to be a position, so you put an assembler down, the output belt's on top, and then you're going to have a position for up to two input belts. I suppose you could have more, but only ever really need two. And there's multiple ways you can actually get two input belts into two assemblers. You can either use long-handed inserters like I've got there, like so. Or if you need really high capacity, what you can do is you can also do belt weaving as well. If you want to get multiple belts into a single line, that you can actually, if you've got express and slow belts, you can use underground belts to weave them. But I usually just have the same type of belt and just have two rows of belts. The other thing you can do here is actually use a splitter and then run an underground belt from here to there, and then that'll let you actually have stack inserters for the input. So inputs from here get picked up there, and then the inputs from here go through the splitter. You can actually pick items up from a splitter and then onto this belt as well. And then for the components, so just imagine this was a component, say gears or something. Same thing, obviously you don't need two input belts, so we'll change the number of input belts. Although I may actually leave, if there is only a single input for a component, I may actually leave just a space, just so that all of the assemblers are the same distance apart. We might do it like that and see what it looks like. So yeah, inputs come in, gets processed, the output goes to here, and then it gets passed down. So for example, for this one, which I'll demonstrate the fluid side of things as well in a second, inputs come in, they go out, and then I'm actually leaving a space here. So if we have more ingredients further down, more components, we can pass them in as well. The only issue would be that you've only got two positions for inputs into the science packs, which is all you need for all the science packs. That means that you do actually need to join belts up from the components for the science. You didn't actually join those belts together. So for example, if we wanted to join the output from this and the output from this into a single belt, all you would do is go like that. So it joins the output from this and this into a single belt, and then you could do the same for this one here. If there was another two belts coming in from other processes, what would be the best way to do that here? Like so. In cases where there's fluids, what I'll do, there's only a couple of science packs that actually use fluids, but we'll actually put the fluids on the input side. We'll probably use undergrounds. It's not really required because, I mean, it's two undergrounds right next to each other, but just so you can actually walk between them. Do that, and then that in between, and then the inputs like that. So that way the inputs for the fluids are coming in the same position as the inputs for the belted items. The other thing I'm going to do is actually install footpaths all around the all around the factory as well. But anyway, what I'll do, I'll go through and I'll do a initial design for all these science packs, and then we'll come back and we'll have a quick look through them and see what we've come up with. Just a quick update on where we're up to in the science redesign here. I've done everything up to the blue science. We're just doing the blue science now, so we'll finish that off and then we'll go through and have a quick look at what we've done so far. It's working out pretty well. There's just a couple of changes that I've made to my initial concept. Primarily, we're not actually going to be making pipes or gears actually in the science factories now. What I've decided to do is actually go for a central thing of gear and pipe production. There's a few science packs that use gears, and there's a few that use pipes. So, and there's other processes that use gears and pipes as well. So, I think it's not something I've actually ever done before, having gears and pipes getting made centrally, but we'll give it a shot. And one more at the very end there. Yeah, the copy paste tool is so useful. I'm just using medium electric poles. Oh, I don't like the way that's connected up. We'll go back and fix it up later on. I'm trying to get the electric lines connected up so that they're a complete grid. Look at the top there. This is just the science redesign. I've just got a bit of empty space over this side of the map. I'm just doing the redesign there. Then once we've finished with that, we'll shift it back over, put it into the factory itself. We actually have to go through to the factory and pull out a whole bunch of other things, steel and circuit production as well, which will probably shift up a little bit. We've got plenty of space up here. We're only ever going to have this much smelting, and eventually we're going to be getting rid of that internal smelting and have it on site. Yeah, we'll shift a few things up. We also need to decide where we're going to put the actual science packs as well, like the actual labs, I mean. Good. Engines. The low density, the rocket fuel. Solid fuel is pretty easy to do. Just the pipe going in there. And then power. Like that, yeah. I'm actually using a medium electric pole for connections between the science packs. Not sure if I'm going to stick with that. We may switch over to a big electric pole at some point. But let's have a quick look at the packs we've done. The red is obviously very easy because we're doing centralized gear production. So the only thing we need to belt in is copper. Green science packs, again, gears and gears. They're going to be belted in. So it makes the design much smaller. I think actually moving the gears and the pipes from the science pack designs actually makes them a lot more compact vertically. I mean, if I was really concerned about making these designs compact vertically, I wouldn't have gone with this concept, but I think it keeps this concept where it looks clean and linear, but it also does reduce the vertical height a little bit. And I think it does make sense to have the gears and pipes off-site, or a central thing of production for those. Military science. The only thing I may play around with a little bit more is the way that the basic ammunition is going into the piercing rounds, which is via this belt here, which is side loading onto this, which means this belt here we need to make sure that this is only getting loaded on the top, because the bottom actually needs to be used for this ammunition. Grenades, walls. I've actually decided also to go for electric furnaces instead of steel furnaces. You could still use steel furnaces for this setup. It would be the same number. You just have to belt in coal as well, so it could be modified to use steel furnaces. Obviously stone in there, then bricks out to the walls. And then blue science is very simple. It's just because we're, again, making pipes and gears off-site, then all we need to have is engine production and solid fuel. So yeah, we'll clean up these electric poles and I'll finish off. We've only got 2 more science packs to do. We've got production and utility science left to do, so we'll do those next. And then we'll have a look, see. I probably won't install it this episode. We'll probably wait until the next episode before we install it. But yeah, I'll finish off those designs and we'll come back and have another look at the science design. So I think we're pretty much done with the initial design of the science here. We've just finished off doing the production and utility science packs. I had to use the little trick of side loading the belts here. We've got stone bricks going into electric furnaces. So I'm just side loading that belt. The only other slight difference is the utility signs. I've had to slightly change the way that the components are going into the utility signs, just the low density structures, because I want those to be as close as possible to the assemblers. Although we could change the way these belts are configured so that that isn't the case, which we may do. I'll just quickly show the options we've got as far as actually loading is concerned here. So just do that over here. Initially I've got it set up just with the belts side by side, and then the stack inserters, and then long hand inserters going into assembly machines, like that. The other option is, I think I showed this before actually, the splitter. You can do it like this. There is actually a third option, which is probably the first one you'd want to try before you go to the one with the splitter, and that is just doing this, which is the other option. So if we do it like this, or with the splitter for this area down here, we could actually bring leave that belt on the outside. So don't bring it into the nearest, just bring it into this position, which would actually make the other components a little bit easier to feed into the process. But this is what it looks like on the map. That's all the science packs except for space science. So in terms of the actual space that it's going to take up in the factory, it's not too bad, though. I probably will do mirrored versions of those so I can put some on the other side of the bus. There's tools online you can use to actually mirror blueprints, so we'll probably do that as we go and actually install them. But the only things we need to do is space science, and then we'll probably start to look at getting the trains up and running, because at the moment I've only got enough resources coming in to fill 4 belts. You can see here at the top we've got smelting for 4 belts of iron and copper, and we actually need to get 8 belts in total of each to supply the science. There's probably enough resources coming in at the moment just to test these science packs, because without the space science there's actually quite a lot of resources that go into space science, so we should be able to test these okay with just the 4 belts. But we also need to go through and actually do a redesign on the green circuits as well. At the moment we've only got a fraction of a belt. We'll see how many belts of green circuits we need to supply the science setup, and make sure we've got that many online, as well as red circuits as well. But I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.